Wait a second. Why are you guys walking so slowly?
Because we're Swedish people.
Hello, my name is Wadzi and welcome to my series Dating Around the World. Today we are in Sweden. Sweden is one of the most innovative and progressive countries in the world, and it's even progressive when it comes to dating. Here, women have equal rights, and homosexuality was legalized in 1944. I mean, 1944. Seriously? Is the rest of the world embarrassed yet? So, the population of Sweden is about 10.2 million people, about 5.1 million men, and 5.1 million women. Even that is equal. Seriously, Sweden? Can you stop showing off? Seriously? So there is this myth that's going around that people in Sweden are tall, blonde, and beautiful, you know, these stereotypes, seriously. Well, guys, I'm here to tell you that this stereotype is true. This stereotype is true. But Sweden is so diverse and it's multicultural, so it's home to lots of amazing, beautiful people. The dating modalities here in Sweden are Tinder, if you're looking for something casual, if you're looking for something serious, and Match.com if you're looking for something more serious. Grindr and Her are great apps for LGBTQ plus communities. But let's hear from the Swedes themselves. What do they prefer? Are Swedish women good at flirting?
Well, I guess so. I would say personally, I'm horrible at discovering it. So,
Are Swedish men good at flirting?
I would say absolutely no.
Also, what I heard that Swedish men are very stable and monogamous.
Most of us.
Most of you guys are. So no players in Sweden.
Yes, we are. Sometimes.
Sometimes
yes,
you're players.
For sure, yeah.
Well, you
I
know,
heard about them.
you heard about the players,
Yeah,
but you're
for
not
sure.
one of them,
No,
so
no,
that's
no.
a good thing. All right. Are you guys flirtatious, Swedish men or Swedish women?
I don't think so, actually. Swedish men, I don't think so. Not
right.
normal Swedish men, I don't think so.
He is.
He was flirtatious. So he was like,
Oh,
okay,
he was
so
so romantic.
He was like, hey, what's up? How you doing?
No, he was like more, hey, do you want to get a fika?
oh, okay. I like
And I
that.
was like, oh my god, yes.
So can you please tell me what a fika is?
A fika in Sweden is something you don't have when you're baking or something you eat 1, 2, 3 time of the day.
Okay.
And you can do it on the cafe, you can do it at home or in the park. Actually, everywhere.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So
it's a
basically,
real Swedish thing.
Cinnamon buns?
Cinnamon buns is really important.
cinnamon buns are important.
Yeah, it's really important.
Okay, all right, okay, all right.
And you're just sitting and like take a coffee or something.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
and talk to each other.
okay, talk to each other, and this is like a good first date in Sweden.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Everyone knows what a fika is.
Yeah, can you tell me what a fika is, for example?
coffee and like some kind of bun, I guess.
Okay, a bun.
So just pretend I said something really intelligent.
Okay, okay, coffee and a bun is fika. Okay, that's great.
Maybe that's one thing about Swedish like dating culture is that we're not that normative in that sense, because we don't have these traditional roles that the guy has to do the first move and buy the girl dinner and so on.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'd say that's the tip if you want to adapt to like the Swedish dating culture.
Well, I like that actually because it just gives women so much freedom. So, women, you can get your man if you want your man, basically.
Yeah, sure.
Exactly. First of all, I love your dog. It is super cute, yeah. What is it like to date in Sweden? Is it easy? Is it difficult to meet people?
It's kind of hard in Stockholm actually. I mean,
Okay.
I wish it was simpler, but I mean, people are so close now. I mean, they're like,
all right,
it's
okay.
hard to meet people in Stockholm. I don't know why, but it
Okay,
is,
all right. But it's actually like home to like 50% of like single people
Yeah,
and
yeah.
single households. So, I mean, Tinder, Match.com, do they work?
Tinder, I use Tinder, but not that much.
Okay,
I mean,
alright.
I try it, but
Okay.
I don't think it's there where I will find someone. I don't think so. I mean, it's a
Okay.
it's a fun thing,
Okay, all
but
right.
it's not the place where I'm gonna meet someone. I
Okay,
don't think so.
so going out and dancing?
I'm not doing that either. I think it's more like a friends and work thing.
Okay, all
So you
right.
meet someone maybe at work, or you like between friends, or someone's friend's friend, or something like that.
Okay.
I think so.
All right, okay. But do you
Yeah.
think people here tend to settle down more or less? Or what do you think the trend is? The trend is less
Yeah.
or is it more for settling down?
I think the trend is less
Okay.
for settling down, and I think that people are getting older before they are looking for a serious or stable relationship.
So do you think that it's still important to get married, or do you think it's like old-fashioned at this point in time?
It's not important to get married, I think.
Okay,
At
alright.
least in Sweden.
Okay, all right.
Because you have the same rights.
All right, that's awesome.
So,
Alright.
otherwise it's legally. When we got married,
Yeah.
then it was easier to have children to be married. But today it is not like that anymore. So it's
If you
Otherwise-
get married, you don't have to arrange any legal agreements in her who gets the money if you die and so on.
Okay.
And but if you just move together, you have to take care of that yourself.
Okay, all right.
So
Okay.
that's
All right. So
more administration.
a little bit more administration. So get married for less administration? For more insight into what it's like to date in Sweden and why the divorce rate is so high, I'm going to be talking to Anna Batista, a psychologist who specializes in relationships.
One of the things that we cannot ignore when we think about life in general in the Swedish society is that Sweden has the most individualistic society in the world.
Okay, all right.
So that means that people are very interested in fulfilling their own selves
Okay, all right.
and achieving the best they can
Okay.
and the best possible life they can, and they're very interested in health and success in many different areas. But when it comes to the couple kind of life,
okay.
it involves so much effort to kind of adjust to each other and to make some to make some reservations about your own self so that you can adapt. There's so much that it's involved in creating the couple. It's like a third entity. There's you, there's the other, and there's the couple, right?
Okay, all right.
And so I think there's a conflict because people think, no, I want to fulfill myself, and if this relationship is not helpful in that way,
Right.
then it's not worth it. And one of the things that we see actually happening a lot in Sweden is that, for example, the idea of living together is not so much something that is seen as a must. So there are many couples that are married or they just decide we will never live together. We will always have our own places, and we can have a very healthy relationship. And I would say it can be very helpful actually to have
okay.
that.
In your experience and what you've seen, it has been helpful to preserve.
because then you kind of get the space for yourself. One of the things that sometimes happens, which is problematic within couples, is that people lose the sense of themselves.
Yeah, that's
Right?
true. Yeah, become us, and the me part of it is
It's
just
forgotten. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So when we think about having that space for yourself and then having the space for the couple,
Yeah.
I think that can bring some balance to the relationship that otherwise wouldn't be found.
That's an interesting take, actually. But then I'm also curious to know how that affects people when they're older. Is there a higher rate or percentage of people who are lonely when they're older here?
I would say yes. Yeah. And actually this idea that I'm talking about living separately, it happens also many times when people have had a marriage.
Okay.
They get divorced and then they decide, I will never be living with someone else again. So then when they get a new partner, they decide, I will keep my own place. And yeah.
But doesn't life just force us to be dependent in some way, because we need human love, we need affection, we need it also long term? Isn't that just what life forces us to need in general? I don't know, I suppose, yeah.
In general, yeah, that is like part of our nature, right?
Yeah,
We need those things. but at the same time, it's a lot about how you are being educated and how you are fulfilling also that need. Because then I think there are ways that people, it's quite structured, I would say, you know, that people look at their needs in a very structured way.
Okay, all right.
You know, like it's not such a spontaneous society as maybe other societies, where those things kind of happen naturally, and here it's almost like things are a little bit more structured, and you're like taking things, you know, how should I have my social time now, or how should I have my, you know, it's
So generally, when you're talking to couples who have problems in relationships and etc., what do you think are the main problems people have here? I mean, yes, you said already that there's like the me, the you, and then this whole concept of like us. What are other problems that people could have here? I mean, family, finances.
I think it's a lot about, this is an issue that many couples face, which is the growing apart, right?
Okay.
When you want different things and when you have different views of how life should look like.
Okay.
And in that sense, you know, it's tricky because we want to have everything from the same person. We want to have the love story, we want to have the passion, we want to have the stability, we want to have the desire, and sometimes, you know, these things are incompatible. If you want to have a passion and this the mad desire, maybe the stability is not, you know. So so I think that's what starts to become points of friction when you start feeling that you're not having your needs satisfied in some areas.
Okay.
And you're not seeing it. You know, you're wanting everything from the same person. You want a friend, you want a lover, you want a mistress, you want you know, everything from the same
person.
In one person, exactly.
Yeah.
So you know, taking out the garbage, it doesn't really go together with the
passion.
The passion, exactly. So that's when things start to become complicated, and people start growing apart, and they start seeing things from different perspectives, and then it becomes harder to kind of find that line again. Not impossible, but that's what brings them usually to therapy, is because they have lost that point of contact, so to say.
All right, okay. So I've looked at how, I'm very impressed by Sweden, because women here have equal rights, and they basically have a say in everything. They go Dutch as well, so the bill split 50-50, and everything is just split 50-50, which I actually love. I love the emancipation of women here. And I wanted to know, have you had cases, or have you seen people who've actually suffered from like abuse in relationships, physical, verbal, emotional, and is that something that's downplayed because of how upplayed the equality is?
I don't think it is downplayed at all, actually. I think, and even that the fact that it is talked now that the rates are becoming increasing in Sweden of domestic violence, I think it has also to do with how much it is talked about, that people are aware that certain boundaries shouldn't be crossed, exactly. But yeah, of course it exists. It also exists, but I think here is the difference perhaps is that there's so much awareness of where that line should be.
Okay,
you know, there's not so much tolerance as, you know, perhaps in other cultures, because I don't know, but here I think that's maybe the point is that there's an awareness of how things should and shouldn't be, you know.
All right, I get that. So because people are so equal, so you would think that there's no like toxic masculinity as an issue here. I mean,
well, that's I don't know if I can. There still is toxic masculinity.
There's still toxic
here,
masculinity. Oh my God,
but
how can people get rid of this?
No, I would say there still is toxic masculinity, but much less. I mean, I've experienced other cultures, and I can definitely say there's much less.
Okay.
But I would also say, and I have to say this, I think there's also some toxic femininity.
Femininity?
I don't know. I don't think you can say
Okay,
femininity.
we need to make this word actually something public. There is toxic femininity.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, but what I mean by this is when I feel like, you know, that feminism also crosses the line when it comes to, you know, what is reasonable and what is not.
Yeah, because we haven't defined it. I think people haven't
no.
defined what it is.
No, and
Yeah.
I can even, you know, I can even say I have had experiences, even myself, where I was a little bit too like, no, but I can do, and then I realized there was actually no bad intention from the other side. So I think.
Yeah, okay. Like opening the door.
No, not
Things
that
like
one.
that? No,
Not
no,
that
no.
one. I'm very happy with the man or a woman opening the door for me.
Yeah.
But yes, I've heard of men saying that they were very much like, don't do that for me, and
Okay,
you know,
all
that's
right,
when I
yeah.
think it's a bit toxic because
Yeah.
you know there can be just a kind gesture. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, but I think it also is part of like this adaptation, right? When you're trying to change things, there's always a time of chaos, so to say,
Yeah, exactly,
until
yeah.
things settle down in the right
Yeah.
place. So
Yeah.
that's why I mentioned this toxic femininity, just in
Alright.
that sense of misunderstanding and taking it the wrong way.
But I think it's important that you mentioned that because I think it's not mentioned enough.
Yeah.
So it's not difficult as an expat here to adapt to the culture here in terms of like dating culture. I mean, because going Dutch is something that is, you know, it's not exactly common. I don't know.
But it's
Things like that,
interesting
like sharing
because I
households
think like
or-
in the paper,
Yeah.
the idea of going Dutch is like what you should do.
Yeah,
but,
exactly,
But
yeah.
then what we see is that, I mean, women still like to, well, I would say the majority still appreciate that gesture.
Okay, all right, I understand that. So, just another question that I have. What do you think, what could you pinpoint as like, what do you think is the major problem in the dating culture and what you think is a great advantage as a summary?
Definitely an advantage, I would say, is the, you know, how respectful and open-minded people are. So I think
all right.
it's very easy to feel safe.
All right.
It's very easy to, yeah, to meet people without much reservations because you're not really thinking that you're
Okay.
gonna, you know, be under some danger or something
Okay.
like that. So I think,
All right.
you know, in general, the city, I'm talking now about Stockholm, is really safe. I think this idea that we are so, you know, that is such an individualistic society. So
Okay.
it makes it extremely hard to find someone
Okay.
that wants to have a joint project
Okay.
because everyone is very much in their own lives and everyone is very much on their own paths and ideas of
could
what they
imagine.
should do with their lives. And so to kind of find two people that kind of really match in that way.
And stay matched.
And stay matched.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big
That's a big
issue.
thing. And can you tell me what the Swedish dream is in general when it comes to long-term relationships?
So there is really like the stereotypical Swedish dream, which would be the 3 V's, the Villa, the Volvo, and the Vove, which is the dog.
Okay.
And that is really the dream for many people. But there is also many who say, I want anything but the 3 V's, you know?
Okay, all right, okay.
So there's
Nightmare.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So in that sense, it's difficult to say what really is the Swedish dream. There is like these two, or many. There are many options, but
Okay.
but yeah, there are those who really want the dream, and those that are, yeah, thinking things differently.
You know, I've read a lot that Sweden is really open and it's really great when it comes to LGBTQ plus rights, right? From your experience as a psychologist, the people that you talk to, and generally as someone who's living here, do you think this is something that's actually true, or is it just on the news and people have a different lived experience from what you've heard?
No, I would say that's the experience people have. It is quite open society in these terms, and even if usually people are very non-confrontational, there's a little bit of an avoidance of confrontation in general. But when it comes to if you see or hear someone saying something that you don't think is right, then people will, bring it up, and so that's I think that's something that can be said that is like
a fact.
Yeah, a fact. Yeah, that's.
But thank you so much, Anna. This has been so
Thank
great,
you.
and thank you for elaborating, of course, what it's like to date in Sweden and what advantages and disadvantages people have. And this is Anna Batista with Dating in Sweden.
Thank you.
All right.
That's beautiful, isn't it? He's doing his thing right now. Is that nice?
I don't know. I've been thinking about being by myself. Yeah. Why need a guy?
You just have to open up. You have to be able to talk to people, look at people, smile at people. Just give a compliment.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I did that.
Okay. So in summary, Sweden is one of the most progressive countries in the world. The population here aspires to self-actualization, with independence and freedom being right at the top of their list. The Swedish seem to have almost no problem with being single, with almost up to 50% of the Swedish households being single-person households. However, the Swedes do confess to being a little bit lonelier, with the percentage of lonely elderly people getting higher and higher every year. So, if you're in Sweden or not in Sweden and you're looking to date a Swede, just remember that traditional roles here are out the window, so just make the first move.